Be the person that does more for others, and life will just be anything you want out of it.
Use your life to be a light to somebody else's.
It's fine to gamble so long as you're the house.
Yeah.
What's up, Believe Nation? It's Evan. I believe in you, and this channel is designed to be a part of your daily success routine. So today, let's live your best belief life and learn some of the most life-changing pieces of advice. Also, if you want to know what Tony Robbins, Oprah Winfrey, Elon Musk, and others have to say about building unstoppable confidence, check out my 254 Confidence series, where every day for the next 254 days, I will send you a morning video for free to help you build your confidence. The link is in the description below.
So while you're in this passionate state, that's where you make decisions.
The key to success is what you believe is true for yourself.
There are just times when something is important enough, you believe in it enough, that you do it in spite of the fear.
Okay, let's kick it off with rule number 1, add value with Tony Robbins.
What's the best piece of advice you've ever gotten?
God, that's so much, but I think one of the most important ones was early in my life. One of my mentors, a man named Jim Rohn, said, Tony, all you have to focus on in your life is find a way to add more value than anybody else does, and you'll never have to worry about anything. Be the person that does more for others, and life will just be anything you want out of it. It really is what it is. And he also said the way to do that is every day work harder on yourself than anything else. Because if you become more intelligent, more valuable, more skilled, you can add more value to other people.
Rule number 2, touch lives every day with Oprah Winfrey.
I remember when I started the school and I said to my beloved friend, Maya Angelou, I said, Maya, I'm just so proud that I was able to create this school. And I said, this is going to be my greatest legacy. And Maya said to me, you have no idea. Right. You have no idea what your legacy will be, she said to me, because your legacy is every life you've touched. And that shifted the way I saw legacy or what you leave behind or what you do. Because Maya was explaining to me that, you know, over all the years of watching your show, everybody who decided that they were going to go back to school or lose weight or no longer hit their children or get out of a bad marriage, all of those people who have seen and experienced your voice. And the same thing with everybody here. You have no idea what your legacy will be. Your legacy is every life that you've touched. And we like to think of it. I know you have done amazing things with your philanthropy. We like to think that these great philanthropic moments are the ones that leave the impact or will make the huge difference in the world. But it's really what you do every day. It's how you use your life to be a light to somebody else's, you know, and it's how you use your work as an expression of your own art, whatever that is.
Rule number 3, think critically with Elon Musk.
Best advice I ever got. You know, the physics training is a very good training where it's a good framework for reasoning, where you're trained to think about first principles and reason from there. And that means boiling things down to the most fundamental truths and then connecting those truths in a way to try to understand how reality is. Because, you know, physics has this problem where they're trying to figure out things that are totally counterintuitive. Yeah. And so they had to have a framework for getting there. Like quantum mechanics is incredibly counterintuitive, yeah. But it's true. And so so physics developed a framework for figuring out things that aren't obvious. And that's why I think it's a lot of advice, but it's the right framework. And then, you know, just in general, critical thinking is good. You know, examining whether you have the correct axioms, are the most applicable axioms, does the logic necessarily connect, and then what are the range of probable outcomes? Outcomes are usually not deterministic; they're a range, and so you want to figure out what those probabilities are, and make sure, ideally, that you're the house. You know, it's fine to gamble so long as you're the house.
Yes.
You know, and a subset of that is to listen to critical feedback, which you alluded to earlier. Always solicit critical feedback, particularly from friends. because generally they will be thinking it, but they won't tell you.
Rule number 4, learn to say no with Maya Angelou.
There's a place in you that you must keep inviolate. You must keep it pristine, clean, so that nobody has the right to curse you or treat you badly. Nobody, no mother, father, no wife, no husband, nobody. Because that may be the place you go to when you meet God. You have to have a place that you say, stop it, back up.
Not
You
here
must
anymore.
not, no.
No.
Absolutely. And that's one I told you 25 years ago.
Yes.
Say no when it's no.
Yeah.
Say so. Back it up. Because that place has to remain clean and clear.
And that has to be a place within yourself.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. That is the best advice.
Rule number 5, stay away from credit with Mark Cuban.
Don't use credit cards. Of all the investments you'll ever make, paying 19% or 18% on something is easily the dumbest. That's money that you should be keeping, you can be saving. It's a different world now because you can be a smart consumer. You have the ability to price check anything on Amazon or Walmart.com, and you know what you need to save for, put it on layaway with them now. It ended up, I had so many credit cards cut up. I was cleaning up some stuff and saw my old credit report. Sears, Amex, Visa, Kaufman's, these old, the situation I was in was like anybody who would give me a credit card, I would use because I didn't have any money, so I needed to use it. And so someone's flipping the old chunks of my old credit card somewhere. So, stay away from credit.
Rule number 6, follow your instinct with TD Jakes.
What's the best advice you ever received?
To go with my gut, to listen at my inner...
Your instinct.
My instinct. It's really true. And that's why I had the aha moment out there, because when I look back over my life, I wrote a man writing a book called Woman Thou Art Loose to Women, at a time no publisher wanted to publish it. There was no precedence for it, but I went with my gut, and that book sold 7 million copies, blessed people all over the world, been translated into 10 different languages. If I would have gone by the empirical data, I would have never done it. I moved from Charleston, West Virginia to Dallas, Texas, didn't even know anybody, but I felt like I was finished in West Virginia. Instinctively saw Dallas as a place that I needed to be, and I went from pastoring 1,000 people to 30,000. Every major move that ever happened in my life, from doing gospel plays that turned into movies that ended up with contracts with Sony's, I've never been trained to do it. It was all instinct. And when I presented this idea and began to talk about it, and I started talking to other people like Tyler Perry or Oprah Winfrey or anybody else that I got a chance to corner long enough to ask a question or two, they were instinctive too.
Rule number 7, value time with Gwyneth Paltrow.
What's the best piece of advice you've ever been given that you keep with you to this day?
My dad gave me the best advice, pertaining to every situation. In my 20s, I was having trouble with one of my girlfriends who I'd, known since grade school. And he said, you can't make new old friends. And it really stuck with me. And now that's actually a piece of advice I think you can apply to other things too, but it's like the value in time, it's sort of like what you were saying with cash, like the value that's created when two people make a commitment, whether it's a relationship or a friendship or a parent-child relationship, to commit to the commitment is very powerful.
It is very powerful.
And rule number 8, the last one before a very special bonus clip, is love with Warren Buffett.
What's the best advice that you've ever received?
Well, I received it in a variety of forms, particularly from my father when I was very young. But he basically, I think, taught me how to live. Not that I did it perfectly or anything like that, but he was giving me lessons, but he wasn't doing it by preaching to me. He was doing it by example. But basically, the biggest lesson, in a sense, I got is the power of unconditional love. I think there is no power on earth like unconditional love. And I think that if you offer that to your child, you're 90% of the way home. And there may be days when you don't feel like it. It's not uncritical love. That's a different animal. But to know you always can come back. That is huge in life. That takes you a long, long way. And I would say that every parent out there that can extend that to their child at a very young age, it's going to make for a better human being.
And you felt like you got that kind of unconditional love from your dad?
I absolutely did, yeah.
That is a powerful thing.
It is a powerful thing.
Now I've got a really special bonus clip with Mark Zuckerberg on how to start for the right reasons that I think you're gonna really enjoy. But before that, it's time for the 3-point landing questions. Time to move from watching another video to actually taking action. And if you're brave, leave your responses in the comments below. Here we go. Question number 1. How can you touch somebody's life today? Number 2, what do you need to learn to say no to? And number 3, where do you need to value your time more?
As you think about where you did start, is there other advice that comes to mind that you give to other people that want to build products that you can take away from the early days of Facebook?
Yeah, you know, I always think that you should start with the problem that you're trying to solve in the world and not start with deciding that you want to build a company, right? I mean, the best companies that get built are things that are trying to drive some kind of social change, even if it's just local in one place. You know, more than starting out because you want to make a bunch of money or have a lot of people working for you or build some company in some way. So, you know, I always think that this is kind of a perverse thing about Silicon Valley in a way, which is that, you know, people decide often that they want to start a company before they even decide what they want to do. And that just feels really backwards to me. And, you know, for anyone who's had the experience of actually building a company, you know that you go through some really hard things along the way. And I think part of what gets you through that is believing in what you're doing and knowing that what you're doing is really delivering a lot of value for people. And that's, I think, how the best companies end up getting made.
So let me give you the one-word secret to happiness. One word. This is all you need to be happy.
The most important word ever.
If you had to think of one word that's most important to you or that sums you up or that would be kind of like a little beacon.
If you like this video and you want to learn 20 pieces of advice every aspiring entrepreneur needs to hear, go check out the video next to me. I think you're going to enjoy it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.
Your real work is to figure out where your power base is.